Hello, I'm that James guy, and today is cylinder head day. We are going to take a look at the cylinder head on my 2015 Ford Fiesta 1 liter EcoBoost turbocharged 3-cylinder. I bought the car with a hole in the block. I have a used engine now, and here is the cylinder head off that engine. You can see here, got 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 cylinders. I've already pulled the buckets out from on top of the valves, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull the valves out. We had some leakers. I will link to the video in the description below. You can see when we poured water down the ports, there was some water leaking in on the valves. It kind of showed up in a leak down test. I'm gonna pull the valves out. We're gonna try and get some lapping happening. Gonna do that. Real simple. Hopefully it seals them up. We'll quickly wash this head off and it should be good to go. Hey, this isn't like an overhaul, folks. Don't get mad at me. We're not like putting new valves in this thing and new seats. This is just a repair. It's got 120,000 kilometers on it. That's 75,000 miles. It needs a repair, not an overhaul. So that's what we're gonna do today. So just a couple more things to pull off the head and then we can get going on that. Also, I bought a 30-something dollar tool from Amazon for removing the valve springs. The valve spring compressor. Why are all the tools on Amazon $32 or $33 for this kind of stuff? I'm not sure. It was my harmonic balancer pulley was that much. There was my compression tester was that much. And now my valve spring compressor is that much. Kind of weird how they're all the same price. Anyway, hey, over 97% of you watching this video aren't even subscribed. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will owe you one. Anyway, let's get going. Exhaust manifold temperature sensor. Impressive. This is my $30-some valve spring compressor tool. Isn't that nice? Simple. Hopefully it works. Okay, here it is installed. It seems like it is gonna work. Not bad for $32. There's numerous different size ends on it that, you choose the one that fits real nice up against the top keeper, and then you just choose any random one that fits and bumps up against the valve. So what you do is you just tighten this down till it pops the collets out. Oh, I heard a pop. And then you drop something. Then you grab your magnet. There's one. And there's another one. And then theoretically, you should just be able to wind this apart. And there's our valve spring. And there's our valve. So, the old trick is you kind of wiggle the valve back and forth just to see how much play is in the guide. This one's actually really tight. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up wire wheeling and get the kind of a bit of the carbon off. These actually aren't too bad for carbon. And you can see the edge. The actual seat itself isn't too bad. So I think there's a little bit of carbon that got caught on the face of this. So I think a little bit of lapping is gonna do the trick with this cylinder head. So now, with this out, it's just kind of a repeat process. We just kind of pull them all out. We're gonna keep the valves in the same order as they were in the engine. We don't wanna mix and match in the same valve spot, location. I'm gonna get them all out and then we'll just kind of check them all out, see if there's anything obvious, and then we're going to go ahead and just kind of lap them in. So in this age of no exhaust manifolds, many of these little turboed engines don't have one. You can see how it's built right into the cylinder head here. Hey, my CX-5, exactly the same thing. No manifold, just ports in the side of the head. And here, if you look in, I got a light on top here, shining into where the valves were. That's cylinder 2. And around the corner, cylinder 1. If I were an exhaust, that's where I'd go. And then cylinder number 3. Right there. Isn't that neat? They do this because heats the engine up faster, more engine heat, more exhaust heat gets into the coolant. Quicker these things warm up, the better they are on emissions, and they get probably points for that kind of stuff. But here's our blank slate, valves out. And you know, I cleaned them up, and they actually look really good, is the thing. There's an intake that presumably was leaking before, and I mean, there's really nothing to see as far as a groove, any sort of meaningful wear. You know, look at the surface, look at the, I mean, you can see there's a little bit of a line where the valve seat was, but no wear to speak of. So I'm really confident that these are going to lap out real nice. And they all look that way. There's no bad ones, so this makes me happy. Well, it doesn't make me happy that I actually had to go this far and take the head off, but anyway, that's a side story. So for lapping valves, we need 2 things. We need a valve lapper, and we need some valve lapping compound. This says valve grinding compound. I hope that's the same thing. All valve lapping compound is just a bit of an abrasive. Put the cap back on and kind of squish it around so it mixes up so that it's not just all liquidy. Oh, what's it say? Directions. Apply compound to metal surface. Follow instructions of the lapping, grinding, or polishing tool. Repeat until surface precision, blah, blah, blah. Good enough. You can see how nice of a finish that's made on that valve. Very nice. And that seat looks beautiful too. So again, this is just a repeat process. We'll just go ahead and do that. We'll always use the same valve that came out of each spot. Sometimes a fresh razor blade just works the best for taking off these style of gaskets. It doesn't have to be spotless, it just has to be clean. You don't have to be able to look at it and see your beautiful reflection or anything like that. Okay, I left the valve guide seals in the head. I don't know if you can see them in there. I found out today that the new upper engine gasket kit does come with new ones. So, to pull them out, there are special pliers, which I don't have. Ooh. There we go. You just got to grip them and give them a twist. So you can just see what that looks like. The valve spring actually sits on top of it, which holds it in place. You can see how that would hold the valve spring or the valve guide seal in the cylinder head. And you know what? They're in really good shape. I wasn't even going to change them, to be honest, just because they feel really grippy on the valves still. I was just going to leave them in there, but now that I know I'm getting new ones, heck, may as well change them, right? Now that this head is all nice and clean from the parts cleaner, look how nice these valve seats lapped out. They're absolutely a thing of beauty. I'm very confident that this thing will run extra good. Look at that. They're like brand new. Not a single mark or anything to be seen. So I'm really happy with the way this thing turned out, and as soon as I get parts, I can put it together. Alright, it's been a long time since that last scene, that last footage you just saw, because I was waiting for this. Parts! I have parts. Took like 4 or 5 weeks to get all these parts. Hey, I wore the same shirt as last time, but I did get a haircut, so there's a bit of a continuity issue there. But we're going to continue on now, and we're going to put these new valve guide seals in the cylinder head and start putting the cylinder head back together. Alright, it turns out that the little valve guide seals we have here, 5/8 6-point socket, fits absolutely beautiful. So you can just kind of put a bit of lube on the background. I'm using just silicone spray here just to kind of give it a little shot of something. And then you just kind of knock it into place. So, like that. Okay, here we go. Here's my little valve guide seal installation kit. Go until it bottoms out. Hear that? It's in. Okay, next we're going to want to put all the valves back in. We just need to push them in. You don't have to worry about the valves falling out because the valve guide seals, being all fresh and new, are going to hold the valves in place. So these things are actually kind of stiff. Like, there's actually kind of a bit of force that kind of keeps these in. And like I said, actually before I say that, you got to make sure that you clean these valves and clean everything off real good with brake clean before you stick them back in. You don't want any residual valve lapping compound left on them. The last thing you want is a bit of sandpaper and grit still stuck in there, because that's just going to do damage. Anyways, also keep these things in order. You don't want them out of order. Remember, we lapped them one valve at a time in their specific spots. You got to make sure you always keep everything in order. So here we go. Going with putting the valves in. We'll continue this on. Doesn't really matter what direction you go, this way or this way, but here we go. Alright, just inspecting the valve guide seals just to make sure that no springs have fallen off. The little tiny spring that kind of holds it all together. It keeps tension on the seal to the valve. So this is the first one, so I know this is going to be awkward. Here we go. Put the valve spring on. Amazon tool in place. Alright, you can see kind of the bit of the valve stem sticking out here. Next we have to somehow, and this is the awkward part. Oh yeah, so awkward. Alright, we're trying a little tiny bit of grease inside this valve keeper. Little dab of grease just to see if we can make it stick. It's so tight in there, so tight, that you can't even like get it to stay, or like you can't even get your fingers in there to do anything. It's crazy. Okay, that one's in, but now I gotta like rotate it to the bottom. Holy cow, I think that went in. I think it's on. This is the most awkward thing I've ever done in my life. Please stay, please stay, please stay. Please stay, please stay. Oh yes. Oh, that is perfection. Now, here's one thing you gotta know, and that'll be it for the tips. You always want to take something after you've got the collet set, and you always want to give it a little tap just to make sure those collets are fully set. If they let go, they're not in there quite right, valve's going to go that way, fall into the cylinder, and you're going to have major engine damage. Okay, well, that took a while, but it's all back together. We just need to do one more thing. We just need to water test this. Remember how before we poured water in the ports, and that's why I decided to take all these valves out and lap them? Oh, in the middle of all this, one of those tiny little valve keepers that's like this big fell on the floor, and I probably looked for it for about an hour. Might have said a bad word or two. But anyway, turns out I have a spare engine over there, right? The original engine. So I just stole a valve collet, or keeper, whatever you want to call it, out of that engine and stuck it in here. We're good to go. I'm just going to water test this now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, exhaust side first. That is extremely dry. Nay, a drop of water to be seen. Awesome. Next, the intake. Please be good. Please be good. Dry again. This is good. So there you go. Headwork. Not that hard. Right? bit of lapping compound and some patience, and you can solve little leaks like that. Still no leaks. Still full of water. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to make some of these videos a little bit more kind of theme based, like, so this was the cylinder head episode. Next time we'll do maybe rod bearings, and then we'll have assembly. You know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to link to the playlist at the end. Check out my Instagram account, that__James__guy, as you can see up here. And yeah, I will see you next time.